Welcome to ECNTRADE Daily Video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration.
Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you for joining me. Well, the much anticipated US inflation figures came in disappointingly for January, which offered little to change expectations that the US Federal Reserve would not pause its rate hike anytime soon. Inflation data for January came slightly above forecasts, indicating a potential longer path in the US Federal Reserve's fight against rising prices, as the annual consumer inflation for January printed at 6.4% year on year, slightly easing from 6.5% in December, but coming in higher than the market estimate of 6.2% increase, according to the Labour Department's figures. On a monthly basis, consumer prices in January rose by 0.5% from the previous month, while the figure for December was revised to 0.1% gain from a declining of the same magnitude. Still to come, we do have the US retail sale figures set to be reported on Wednesday, which will provide clues for the health of the US consumer. Looking at the market, well, the dollar index, which measures the greenback strength against a basket of six major currencies, is unchanged at 103.15, even though there was much whipsaw price action. The Australian dollar, however, has managed to reach its objective around 69.95 and holding there. However, I'm a little bit cautious to this call due to the fact is that we haven't got full support from the indicators, and therefore we only stabbed at that top side level of 69.95, and therefore could see an ease back in the day's price action when we all turn to the speech given by Governor Phil Lowe later on today. The speech from the RBA governor may provide further clues about the likely monetary policy action that will be taken in March. If we do see a retreat, then I'm looking towards 69.30 and reassess on the day. Looking at euro, the market stabbed at the top side, but as you can see, towards that 107.90 area, the market came into a little bit of trouble. And from the 107.80-90 area, now puts a slight weaker play into today's price action. From the rejection, could now look towards 106.70, or maybe where the base holds at 106.20. We're just about to take out the level of 132.80-90 for dollar yen, and if cleared, would give a further path on towards the region of 134 to 136 as a potential target. I like the way these indicators are set up, and therefore I expect to see any pullback to be shallow, and therefore eventually reach its objective, as I mentioned, around 134 to 136. Sterling, well, the market has taken out that top side level of 121.45 and now puts a squeeze on towards 122.20. That being said, though, we did actually get to that objective last night after stabbing the area around or above 122. Nevertheless, there still seems to be a little bit more room to the upside, given that the technicals have improved slightly. I'm a little bit skeptical in terms of whether the market will sustain around that 122.20, but nevertheless, the bulls are taking the path towards this region. Let's see if we do see a retreat once reached. Having displayed a whipsaw price action for gold and got close towards that 1,840 level, the market is still somewhat negative, and therefore next support I view is minor at 48 and then 38 and then down to 1,820.26 as the objective, with little upside potential unless we clear 1,876. Wrapping up with oil, we did take a stab at the support level seen around 76.90-95 overnight, but respected. From there, has put a slight upward step in the market and maybe even see a squeeze on towards $80.50 and then maybe another down test. But overall, I feel that we could reach 82, but be aware that there is bears harboring from that region, like previously going all the way back towards November, and therefore could see a rejection from that top side if challenged. One takeaway, though, is if we see a break of 76.90, that would give further exposure to the downside to around 75.60-80, where I feel a bullish ambush awaits. Well, that wraps it for the morning. Thank you very much for joining me. And as always, look out for the intraday report. I hope you enjoy the great start to the day.